Good morning. Excuse me for wider wording of the topic than will be in reality. As a matter of fact, my presentation will focus on two important aspects in protecting network data. This will be my topic is far from the topics of the previous speakers. The presentation will describe the present-day condition of the security of public key infrastructure and the present condition with the TLS protocol. This is a picture explaining that what is a PKR system in its own. It's a key authenticated by one of the certification centers. After it has been authenticated by a certifying center, accordingly, communicating TLS protocols with services know that this service can be trusted. The certifying center just proves the reliability. Everything is okay, but regretfully, there are too many such centers. With browsers, there are too many trusted certificates, and strange incidents started to happen. A brief report. The less interested incidents that led to minimum level effects. It has been quickly recouped. It was just it resulted to the return of the certificates, and a bit in detail about the most notorious scandal in this field. And this certification authority, DG Notar, issued certificates for fake, well, not fake, not authorized, for more than 20 sites. Then certificates were widely spread in the wild nature. Regretfully, this slide is not quite well seen. Let me describe it. Most queries with CPS protocol on the validity of the service were issued from Iran. Therefore, when incidents became widely known, the company had to go bankrupt, and therefore this was assigned to the activities of the Iranian intelligence services. Browser Node Home caching included caching of certificates of Google-based sites. And accordingly, the browser issued a warning that certificates used for communicating with the Google base does not correspond with the original Google certificate. It could have been considered as a single incident, but in 2013, however, the information went in a wide flow. First, last summer, rumors appeared that U.S. intelligence services demanded to be provided secret keys from Facebook, Microsoft, and so on. And further on, from the media, we have just got information about the PRISM software. It's a diagram since when through which providers American security services exercise control, and the community, including ETF, has not stayed aside from it. Recommendations appeared in what way how to retune services protected under TLS protocol. So far, the most widely spread way of protecting of agreed key in the face of the connecting to TLS service is encrypted on a public server. Without the present availability of this encrypted key to decrypt, this key is not possible. However, regretfully, encrypted codes are also leaked just in different through backups by other ways. But the American government and secret services collect data or traffic, and after getting encrypted codes, they have an opportunity to decode it. Current recommendations on the practice of of tuning servers based on SSL protocols, it is proposed to use for the protection of keys a scheme of Diffie-Hellman. It is schematically it's outlined here. It is rather a simple mathematical equation, but I would like to pay attention to this slide. There is a reference to regularly updated information on SSL best practices. They give recommended how services should be protected based on TSL to minimize threats to transmitted information. Snowden's materials are attentively studied by one of the experts, Bruce Schneier. This recommendation to hide in the spectrum that has been devised with to encrypt to use this air layer between computers. Another aspect that he underlines that one should use this software with open codes because it's more difficult to embed bugs. Well, that's rather difficult to understand, and a person not experienced, and then it's not possible to detect any bug there. And only Bruce Schneier comes to a conclusion for another user, an opportunity to comply with all security recommendations is not realistic. Well, we return again to the topic of the PKI. Any of the available certification authorities can issue certificates for anything. Therefore, it is necessary to have additional inspections. We'd like to that certificate provided in the moment of communication is indeed a part of that service with which you communicate. Simply PKI, which has been considered sufficient to verify the opposite party in communication, then the question appears about an independent source of checking. What can be used for this purpose at the moment? First and foremost, for several years, there is a standard DANE, which enables with DNS to place your certificate to verify it through the NSSEC chain. But it's a good certificate, but one hand deficiency is not supported by software. In case of the customers software, it's a browser. Another alternative, pinning. When you first come to your software, memorizes what certificate was presented accordingly, and with the change, a warning will be issued to you. In that way, a DigiNotar case was detected. Google Chrome caches certificates for its services. However, the support on browsers is available only at the level of some plugins. And another principal deficiency of this option, if a fake website has been proposed to you during the first contact, that you'll keep just a fake certificate and you will never know about it. Accordingly, an initiative that is being actively promoted, that's a certificate transparency project. I sympathize most with it, although it is quite far from for reaching this stage of broad dissemination. It presupposes a launch of infrastructure. That's a small number of points which log issuing certificates. The certification authority can get to the cryptographic level, and this it is irrelevant with a digital signature will be presented with a self-communication with web servers. Accordingly, further on, and just we have a plug because of fact that these logs are available publicly and it cannot be falsified. There is either just crossing, but a certificate presented certificate has not been captured in the log. Does not contain any this cryptographic label. Therefore, this website should raise suspicion or an owner over the resource and can examine what certificates were issued for its resort. And in case of uncovering that certificates were issued without his knowledge to respond in a proper way. The problem will be evident for visual noticing. There is an advantage that it is infused by Google, which is the largest player in the browsers market. This has been announced in the Google Chrome, but with specific dates. Regretfully, one of the authors of this project is Belyavsky, who is one of the authors of the most spread cryptographic toolkit OpenSSL. In the mailing from large certification, I've seen letters from the Commodore and interest to technology from the site of certification authority is already evident. This combination gives a ground to assume that technologies will be extended, and when may become one of the factors in thwarting attacks on protocol delegates. Now the general condition is that on the aggregate efforts, protocol TSL do not guarantee the safety of communication. As a rule, the weakest link in the chain is the human factor, because the people just fail to ignore it. Thank you. Thank you. Other questions? Alexei Simrov, Metan Group. I have some remarks and questions on the presentation. First, I wouldn't agree that that MSL was operating well. It was always functioning badly. Undoubtedly, it has become known that has not only driven that this is that one can use this. It is known for black forum certificates of large domains spelled by were sold. It's not a secret at quite accessible money, affordable money. Therefore, the second remark regards how an attack DigiNotar was detected and where running services were DigiNotar used outdated software and was hacked by one of the hackers group, and simply security services bought this case. Still, they led to the To some extent, yes, but the key problem was that they used just outdated Windows NT without firewalls. I have a reference to the report, but regretfully, in that slide, that does not quite. It's another correction. This attack was against Google services, not because of that Google Chrome in does Google Chrome include Google verification. They are verified under DNS. You can read articles where since 2010, 2011 they did DNSSEC, even before DNS. They made as an experimental toy, included into Chrome and forgot. But in some moment of time, they provided these alerts. Of course, that manifested itself in new users of this. I'll take into account while adjusting the and this with regard Dane. There is one important opportunity not mentioned there. We have more than two opportunities. One to confirm that a certificate issued by say is our certificate. It's a good idea. And the second idea, yet at a better idea, we can issue a certificate without using CA that we do not. There will be another presentation devoted to this topic. One of the opportunities Dane provides to move away from these fat CAs, which we should trust because that simply exists. So the CAs will preserve themselves. They will need to exist. But for sell certificates, there will be of no use. For most sites, yes, one can legally use self-subscribed certificate. The security will be not worse. If we speak about the limited use of Dane production, for example, within a corporation or within some community, they are not quite ready for use. There are plugins from some vendors for Firefox for firewalls. We need to download and plugins. We should use resolver to support in DNSSEC, and domain should be subscribed by means of DNSSEC. But in principle, if you make it within the scope of organization and comply with all these requirements, then it can be already applied. It's not already as a set of curved some sticks. Well, of course, plugins can be used, but in my point of view, a full-fledged use of any such security means starts when a browser is supported by default. I'll agree with that, but just to wrap up it, just with the tells us just deficiencies. Well, the certificates to provide it that this ambassadors of the program want to give a private key to security services. We cannot do anything about that if we don't control. I would like to say that using the period forward secrecy assigned to some extent that for an opportunity having an encrypted code from of another party wouldn't be possible to decode the traffic. There's another mechanism of protection. Certificates are used there for authentication of the server services, and cryptographic part for this cryptographic key is not connected. Therefore, the access of that's critical importance. If the components just provide us the private keys to security, that also it will be just pouring down its cryptic traffic if they request. Я хотел бы сказать, что Дэн Йорк, я буду выступать по Дэйн сегодня после обеда, просто чтобы мы можем больше еще обсудить по этой теме, презентация, которая начнется в 3 часа. Но все равно дискуссия очень хорошая будет. Спасибо. Questions? Thank you. My question has already Bill was already voiced. It seems to me that the idea of Dane, which replaces Daniel, just it's a pleasant thing to hear, because we can use our national being, but there is another danger, because national domain means that's to nationalize domain name privatization. Maybe I sell. Probably nobody, but not many. Let's stick with two edges. DCL, an independent company. Probably you trust CIA in the Netherlands or to the Secret Service of Iraq. Well, that's an example. Dane, you presuppose the use of some domain. If you use your national domain, if you do not trust the national domain system, you have an opportunity self-subscribe certificate and to develop a trust chain to the. If your zone has been subscribed, then you don't have such. If you have not subscribed, then there is always a chain. Other questions? No questions. Then coffee break.